All right. I'm just going to start and I'm going to share my screen. So this is the healing power of embodiment. I'm just going to start by introducing myself in case you don't know. I'm a wife, mom, therapist, and embodiment coach, and former disembodied woman. I put that down because for many years, I lived as if I was disconnected from my body. I felt like a floating head, and I was subject to all of my body's emotions and reactions to things. And I demonized my body because of that. That led to years of panic attacks and crippling anxiety until I started reconnecting back with my body through a practice called nonlinear movement and other somatic therapies that really helped me to heal from anxiety and complicated PTSD. So we will get into that. What is embodiment? It is contradictory to maybe what you might think. It's not living in your body perfectly all the time or feeling good all the time. It's just noticing what you feel when you feel it. So it's identifying senses, emotions, becoming sensitive and alive more in your body and feeling more at home. At times it might not feel comfortable, and it might be something that where you understand, okay, my body feels uncomfortable in this moment. What do I need to do in order to make my body feel comfortable in order to be fully integrated as a human? So it's really important when it comes to healing because it's the physical embodiment of being present and rooted and sensitive to the body, alive in the body at one time. And it's our bodies hold trauma. Our bodies tell stories of the traumas that we've endured. And they do so in ways like symptoms of disease or panic attacks, like I mentioned, anxiety, depression, uh, sexual disorders. All of those can be ways our body is showing us that we have to heal something. So I always say, as children, we're naturally embodied because we can skip, play, dance, move, scream, tantrum whenever we feel something. We are allowed to feel that. And there comes a time in our life as um, a child, usually, when we realize it's not safe to be who we are, or it's not safe to be in our bodies. For me, that was around 10 years old when I was told at church not to wear what I was wearing because my biker shorts were too tight. And I was very confused in that moment. I didn't understand why my body was bad and what would happen. I didn't understand then that men were bad. And in that moment, my whole world shifted. My whole concept of myself shifted, and the concept of men in the world shifted. So I became more and more disembodied after that event. Why is it important to healing? It helps you identify what you're feeling, what emotions you're feeling in your body, and how to reconnect back to your body. Sometimes we feel emotions and we don't know what is associated with. So oftentimes in therapy or coaching sessions, I will have my clients say where they feel things in their body, and we will speak to that part of their body, or we will speak to the emotion that they're feeling. We'll give it an age, and we will help the person to actually understand what happened to them. We don't even have to understand what happened to you to actually release what happened and heal from it, which is also why embodiment is so important. So it goes to the helps release trauma part. Our bodies have a natural intelligence. We aren't really taught that as young adults. We're teaching it now more, but our bodies have a natural way of saving us. And they also have a natural, which actually is the trauma response. Fight, flight, or freeze is a trauma response to save our bodies. So trauma, then when it's stored, though, becomes something that afflicts us. So when we do embodiment exercises, we can move trauma out of our bodies without even telling our bodies what to do. It's all about trusting our bodies and coming back home to our bodies. So that is what I teach in my group. That is what I teach with my clients, all about how to trust our bodies, to spend time with our bodies, and to allow our bodies to do what they need to do in order for us to heal. It also helps to increase intimacy with your body increased pleasure with your body, aliveness with your body. And this also helps if you're in relationship with somebody else. What causes disembodiment? Trauma, or the shit that happens to you. Trauma really is just what happens to you. It's what happens to you and what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. So, for instance, that means that you could grow up in the same family and you might be the sibling that has some trauma from that, or the other person might not. Same thing. I've noticed, I've talked about my religious upbringing. And so some of the girls say, that didn't happen to me. I'm like, well, that's great, but this is how it happened to me. And so trauma is very different. There's also systemic trauma, historical trauma. So if you're part of a group of people that have been marginalized or oppressed, you can inherit that trauma. It's called epigenetics, where the trauma literally changes our genetics. Different genetics can be turned on as a result of long systemic trauma. So if you are a woman here today, congratulations, you're a part of that oppressive group that we have been oppressed for years and years and years. So we carry traumas within our bodies as a result of that. There was actually an interesting TikTok going around that I saw where men were scaring women as they walked by them to see what they responded as. They would like walk by them and then like go, wow. And then all the girls would do the same thing. They all were like, like immediately. And the guys weren't actually really like trying to scare them. They were just trying to like covertly scare them. So it was really sad at the same time, because they were making fun of a systemic trauma that women have been through. Where we have been oppressed by men and hurt by men. Not all men, but if you're walking down an alley at night at dark and there's a guy, you know what I mean. So trauma can be systemic, it can be historical, and it can just be your interpretation. It can also be a localized event. So it can be something like a car accident or a sexual abuse or any, a big trauma like a sickness or an illness or something like that. That can also be a localized trauma as well. Typically, that's what causes PTSD. But what causes complicated PTSD or CPTSD is constant connection or coming up against a system that didn't work for you. So that is what causes complex PTSD. It's much more subliminal. It's much more overt or covert, I should say. And so that is what you see normally with like religious trauma or spiritual trauma, or if you grew up in an abusive household. Daily stress and freeze mode also causes disembodiment. So not only do we have to heal from the things that happen to us in order to become our full selves, we are daily inundated with stressors that cause us to freeze. So today and age, we are more and more connected to the things that cause us stress, like our phones. Have you guys ever had like an email or a message on your phone that immediately sends you into like fight or flight or freeze, where you're like, I'm just so like, I can't win. I can't get everything done. It's just coming at us now more and more. So that's why embodiment is so important today, because you can literally not have to move. And we need that. We need to move. We need to get outside. We need to be in community. So yeah, embodiment or disembodiment can be a result of daily stress. And distorted cognitions from previous BS programming. So whatever programming you've got growing up, usually from 0 to 6 is our most impressionable years. Imagine yourself as a blank computer. You need a program to run off. What you get is what you get for the first 0 to 6 years. And it's from those years on that you operate out of that. And when you operate out of that, and this is why we work on childhood wounds, is because you do whatever you can to receive love and belonging. Children are really good at that, and that's their only job really, is to receive love and belonging, and they will do anything to get it. And so if you grew up in a religious organization, you will do whatever you can to be a part of that, or to be a good girl, or whatever you had to do to get that love from your parents, you will do that. So whatever that though programming might have not worked for you now. That's what we do in therapy and in coaching in my group practice, my group program. We're going to notice what was the old programming and what do you actually believe now? What do you want to believe now? And then we pair it with embodiment practices to help your mind and body connect and believe it. This was a book I found when I was cleaning out my aunt's house, and it incidentally was a curriculum that my mom and her did when I was probably really young. And then there was a Bible study at church that went with this, and it was all about how you need to change. You need to be the perfect woman. You need to, what to eat, what to say, how to speak, how to dress, how to do your makeup so that you weren't too much or you were enough. It put an incredible amount of pressure on women and disembodiment for women. Basically, your body wasn't your own. Your body was meant for a man. So that's just an example of a BS programming that might be something that you later on in life would want to change. Okay, the effects of disembodiment. I kind of already mentioned it, but yeah, it's a disconnection with authentic self. So you feel really out of alignment, depression, anxiety, mental health symptoms. I see a lot of this in my practice with women where there's a disconnection with pleasure. It's like women don't even know how to have pleasure, and they say things like, I want it. So we don't even want it anymore, but we want it. And pleasure is our birthright as women. It causes disordered eating, body image issues. Been there. I'm sure you guys probably have too. Living somebody else's story. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, where you're like, is this the one I want to live? Is this my story? Because I kind of feel like I'm living somebody else's. That will cause disembodiment, and you'll notice symptoms of that as well. That was kind of my own personal story too, of feeling like this just doesn't fit me anymore. Sexual dysfunction is a big one, internalized shame, constantly freezing, increased stress and disease, and burnout. So embodiment, once again, is just the process of coming back to your full human experience, noticing what you feel in your mind and your body, and working with your body. So like moving out the cognitive distortions, moving out the trauma, and then allowing yourself to move in a way that actually feels authentic to you, and that you can actually call in and manifest the things you want for your life. And the interesting thing is, like I said before, is we weren't born that way. We were all born integrated, mind, body, soul, spirit. And you can see that in children and babies. So a good question to ask yourself today is, how do I relate to my body? How do I experience my body today? Am I at war with my body, or am I listening to my body? Am I at home in my body? Because if I'm not, that should be the goal of our life, right? This is the one life we get, the one body we get. We want to live in that body. What can I do here? Just some easy steps to take to start becoming embodied. And that is address your body first. So whenever I would have anxiety or panic attacks, I would get in my head and I would be judgmental of myself. And I would be like, why are you feeling this again? You're just crazy, or you're just this or that. And I would judge myself, and that never helped. So number one, without judgment, notice what you feel in your body. And just say, yep, there it is. There's that anxiety. Okay, my heart is beating a little bit more today. Yep, okay. What do I need? What does my body need? Sleep or rest? Maybe less coffee. Maybe you need to eat. Maybe you need to move. Address what your body actually needs. Notice your triggers and your mind and your body and respond to them together. So like noticing, every time I go to bed late and then I get up early and then the day gets ahead of me, and then I'm so out of my body, I'm so triggered. What do I need in order to respond to the daily stress of life in a better way? Maybe it is grounding yourself first before you hop onto that business call or have that important conversation with somebody. And that would look like grounding in your five senses. I say this all the time to my clients, like 5 in, 5 out. What are 5 things you feel inside? Label 1. Okay, I'm feeling anxious. What is one thing you see outside of yourself? Okay, I can see the trees. They're green. They're beautiful. Got it. Okay. What is another one? Oh, my hands are sweaty and I'm worried this person's going to think this bad thing of me. What is something else I see outside of myself? The sun is shining. Okay. So we're grounding ourselves in reality using our sight. You can also do this with touch. So you could do what it's called meridian tapping points. This is really good to do like a daily energy routine. There's I think she's a coach. Her name's Donna Eden. She's just lovely. And she's on the internet on YouTube, and you can look up Donna Eden's daily energy routine. And she goes over all of her meridian tapping points. And it feels so good. You can also do this with taste and smell. What do I smell and what do I taste as I eat to ground myself back into my body? And then the fourth one would be just ask for help. You don't have to do this alone. So there are lots of people that do this work. I do it. I see clients. I'm open to seeing more clients. I have a group program. I have an individual program as well. But I'm specifically launching a group program. It's going to start on October 2nd, and I'm really excited for it. We're going to meet once a week, and it's a specific 8-week transformational program with other like-minded women. So I'm very passionate about getting other women together to do this work because it's just a game changer. And it's almost, the group is the medicine, really. It's just beautiful when I see women heal together. So how to reset. This is a great way to reset your nervous system. If your nervous system gets hijacked and you feel disembodied, a great way to get back into your body is just going out into nature or getting a massage, practicing meditation, doing deep abdominal breathing. So that's like, I'll literally put my hand on my heart and on my stomach, and I'll take deep breaths in, and I'll have this hand rise. And then as I breathe out, I will try to make this hand rise that's on my abdomen. And then that's how I know I'm breathing really deep into my body as these hands go up and down. Another one is just repetitive prayer, or saying something over and over again, like my body is safe, my body is mine, it's safe in my body. Focusing on a word that's calming or soothing is also good. Getting to play with your kids or animals will help you ground. And then anything like yoga or Tai Chi, nonlinear movement, which is what I teach, will get you back to your body. And that is a practice. It doesn't happen naturally. We have to practice it. So this is just a little bit more about somatic healing. It's all about pairing the mind and the body together. Another technique I love to help ground is just like a cold shower or pulsating water, where you're noticing where the water is touching and you consciously let it move over you while you label the parts of your body, or you are welcoming your body back or your soul back using water. I mentioned the meridian tapping points, breath work. I love the breath work app. It's literally just called breath work, but there's no in work. Nonlinear movement and inner child healing is some of my favorite work to do. I always say that our body has an insane ability to heal, and trauma resolved is a gift. It really is. It builds resilience. It helps point you in the direction of your path. It's helped me personally figure out my calling in life, because it was like, if I couldn't resist it, I was like, I'm going to go into it, which is called radical acceptance. When you look at it head on in little chunks, we don't do this all at once. We don't just throw your trauma at you and expect you to heal it. It's little bites of it at once. And then 2-degree shifts. It's all it is, 2-degree shifts. But as we do this work, and as you learn how to become more and more embodied, it will help you find clarity. It will help you find the next thing for you. It will help you to live more embodied and calmer every day, and understand what you're feeling and how you can move it out or call in more of what you want for life. So that is why I love to teach it, because our bodies have an ability to heal. This is too much words, so I'm going to show you more about the coaching program through this one. This is my Embodied Woman coaching program, which we will be doing starting October 2nd. So a little bit about me. I created this program that will help you explore your childhood wounds and unhealed traumas, reconnect your mind, body, release trauma, and awaken pleasure or awaken your body. And in the end, we focus on that fun stuff of increasing desire and pleasure and finding out how you can actually manifest that. So you'll be working closely with me and other like-minded women for 8 weeks. And we have a private WhatsApp group where we will be encouraging one another and checking in with each other to unblock, awaken, and call in what the life you want. So yes, I'm a therapist. I have been a licensed therapist. I don't even know now, for like 10 years, and have leaned more into the embodiment work with women because it's just so empowering and beautiful to see. So I always say it's the most meaningful soul work you will ever do. And what to expect. So in the beginning, we work on childhood wounds or like the stories we've told ourselves. So it's very much like narrative therapy. We want to learn what's the narrative you have carried with you. And then we set goals. What do you want to see happen as a result of this 8 weeks? And then we work on the trauma timeline and deprogramming. So what was the message you received, whether someone said it to you or not? What did you gain? What did you learn from that experience? So we all have positive and negatives, and we want to deprogram and reprogram the negative ones. So we tap into the body's wisdom to learn how we can move out and reprogram. Then we work on awakening the body and increasing pleasure. How can we get rid of limiting beliefs that we've carried about pleasure and our bodies and learn to work with our cycles? That was a huge thing for me to learn about my cycle, is that it's not just my period. It's like every day I'm a different person because I have different hormones running through my body as a woman. I am different during each phase of my cycle. So we're going to be talking about that. And we're going to have some guests. I've got my sexual wealth coach, Joe Portia, is going to be joining us for that because she is a professional and she is trained in pleasure and tantra. So she's going to be talking a little bit about that one week. And then we're going to move into calling in and manifestation. So that's okay. Once I unblock those things that are keeping me from what I want to feel in life or have in life, how do I call in what I want for life? So this is all about increasing your worth, your self-worth, and identifying what it is you want, not what anybody else has said you needed, but what do you want? And that'll be long-term and short-term goals. So I teach a little bit about manifestation too. And I think that's almost it. So yeah, this is just the kickoff list of what we do in the beginning. We're just gonna get people on board and write down your own personal goals. I'm going to teach you how to create your own safe space to do the work, and then starting your first homework. You get my, excuse me, you get my new workbook that I created, which is called the Embodied Woman Workbook. I need to change that. It used to be called Create Your Calm, but I added all the stuff about cycle and pleasure and feminine archetypes, which we're going to learn about too. And so that is in the workbook. And so you get that. You learn all about somatic flow and how to use your body to release and to call in and to feel pleasure. We'll meet once a week for 50 minutes on Zoom and as a group. And then you get personalized homework and meditations each week in this group. So you'll also have access to me more to check in with how you're doing. The price is only $479, which I think it comes out to like 50 something dollars a session, which is normally therapy one-on-one sessions cost like $210 a session. So I wanted to keep this low so that women that couldn't afford therapy or coaching could get into this. And I actually think working as a group sometimes is better because you will see your story resonated in somebody else's. It's always like that. And then the friendships, the relationships that are formed as a result of that are life-changing. as a result of the last 2 retreats I've done, I just love that I see the women still texting and checking in with each other, and it warms my heart and makes me feel so happy. So that is the price. I hope that this resonates with you and that you want to join, you will. Here's some other ways to work with me. I do therapy if you're in California, and then I do a one-on-one sessions coaching container for 6 to 9 months. And that's where we work on like really deep stuff if you want to not do this in a group. And we meet your goals by the end of that container, 9 months. So I do have one more spot available for my Joshua retreat if you are interested in that. And that is on my website. And I have a couple spots left for South Carolina, where we do this embodiment work together over a weekend, and we have a lot of fun. And then once again, my group program. So, oh yeah, I forgot about this thing I did. So yes, 8 weeks of coming home to your body, learning to practice coming home to your body, because we have to practice it, like I said, releasing. This is just sort of what we're going to be doing in, in 8 weeks, starting with this coming home, release, awakening the body in pleasure, and then integrating it. And it's really important to learn integration. So that's like, okay, I learned all this stuff, but how do I make this applicable to my life? And what do I need to do next? So I will never just leave you high and dry and give you all this information and unblock you and be like, bye. No, we help learn what for you specifically do you need and who can hold you accountable to that. So that's also part of the group, is that someone's going to hold you accountable and check in with you, so that they know you're still working on your goals. So that's it. Any questions? I can actually stop that. Oh, let me put, in case you are interested in more information on the group, I'll put that in here, and then I will also put in my website in case you want to learn more about the retreats. So in the chat, if you want to join that right now, there will be an online module as well to help walk you through each week to know, like, okay, here's the meditations we're doing, here's the homework, and here was the topic. So there will be that online, and then as well, you get the journal PDF. And yeah, any questions, you guys? You can unmute yourself since there's only 2 of you.
I don't know if I have any questions, but I appreciate the work.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh, wait, did I unmute you? Let me see if I can unmute you. Yeah, you're unmuted. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying, I don't know if I have any questions. I reached out to you earlier about nonlinear because I'm also a therapist, but
good.
But I know I want to do more embodied work for myself.
Yes, I remember talking to you about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
I don't know if this is, I'm just trying to figure out if this would be the way for me to get through some of the blocks. I've done different retreats myself, and this seems to hit home. So just really appreciate
Oh yeah,
offering.
I love it. I love just like even 5 minutes a day. Michaela, the creator of Nonlinear, says even 5 minutes a day has benefits more than 1 hour once a week.
Insane. Yeah,
because you're just constantly moving things out, moving the junk out that you hold in your body. So you know about that.
Yeah. Awesome. But it's good to, and I think to do it in a group setting, like what you're offering, is where more healing can happen. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
To do. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Hillary. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was just curious. Well, you have a list of dates on when you're going to have your classes?
Yes, every Monday. They're going to be every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. And then I'm going to record them, and they'll be put in online so that if you missed it, you'll get to watch the recording.
Okay, cool. Because I have nap time at at 12:30. So this is like, luckily my daughter woke up early this morning, so I was able to put her down, but I'm like, I can't make these.
Oh,
12
I know. It was so hard to decide, like, how do I do this? Do I do it in the morning before school, or do I do it at night, or do I do it like in the middle of the day when there's like a lunch break? I don't know. So yeah, I'll just record it so that you can rewatch it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for being here.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks so
Cool.
much. Thanks,
All
Chris.
right. You're welcome. Bye.